Hi everybody, this is Tara with Handmade by Tera. Welcome to my Saturday videos. I've decided once we went on this quarantine, I need to just start doing these videos every weekend. And some of them will be stuff to sell, some of them will be just working on projects, and so you can see how the process is done. So first of all, let me check and see if I've got everything going. If you're here, say hi. What I'm wearing right now is one of my masks. What do you think? These are crocheted toppers, and they cover the nose and the mouth quite well, but they also have a lining inside. This is a double thick cotton lining, and I've put a pocket in it as well, so you can add additional filters if you'd like. These are available on my website, myebooth.com/vendors/Handmade by Tera, or you can go to handmadebytera.com and find me there, or you can just click buy now on my Facebook page and you can find me there as well. So let's see, I know I'm supposed to, but let's check here. So these are, they're acrylic on the outside and, acrylic yarn on the outside, and this crocheted, and then cotton on the inside. But I'm not here to sell today. Let me say hi so I can see comments. Okay. Today, what I'm going to work on is warping my loom. My loom is a Shock Rigid Heddle Loom. It's a Cricut brand, and it is a 10-inch rigid Heddle Loom, and it's perfect for traveling with. It fits in a tote bag. I can carry it to shows. I can carry it anywhere I want to go, and it goes with me. I can pull it out and weave anywhere. I can sit on my couch and weave. Love it. But today what I'm going to do is work on I just realized I forgot to turn my ringer off, and I really don't need any ringers. So today I'm going to work on warping this so I can make a scarf. I'm going to be using Mandala Ombre yarn, and what I do is when I warp from the outside, and then when I weave from the inside. So this is the rigid Heddle. If you look, there's holes and slots. And what I'm going to do is fill each one of these slots. I do mine about 5 in, so it's about 8 inches instead of 10 inches, just because I don't like a 10-inch scarf. I think it's a little too wide for a woven scarf. So let's get started. First thing I do is I put the yarn on the floor, and I tie one end to the tie rod. Nothing fancy here. And I put the rigid Heddle up, and then I use a Heddle tool. A Heddle tool has a little hook on it, so it can slide through the Heddle and pull out the yarn. So I'm going to go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in from the edge and pull through. And then I get my steps in. As I walk to the other end, I'm about 7 feet from one end to this rod. Then I go under or over and under the tie bar, and then the next loop. And I just keep, this part doesn't take very long. But I've had many people ask me, how long does it take to weave a scarf? And that varies, because you never know what you have going on. And I'd say uninterrupted, start to finish, 6 to 8 hours. Depending on the complete. If it's just a basic weave, probably about 6 hours if it's a more complicated weave, it could take up to even 10 hours if it's complicated. I like to use yarn that it does the work for me. I've done plaids before that with separate different colors, and those are cool, but boy do I hate having, oh, I got a knot here. So one of the problems when you work with yarn is the manufacturer sometimes puts a knot because they've run out of their yarn, and so they put a knot, just a random knot in the skein, and that's frustrating because look at that, they don't even match colors. As I cut it off, and tie it off and start fresh. I don't know why they do that. It's really bad design. But it's almost like they don't even realize that people are actually making a project and knots cause a problem with a project. Now, knotting it on my tie bar is not a problem. Hi Christine, how are you? Thanks for coming on. What I'm doing is warping my loom, preparing it to weave. And I just found a knot in my yarn, so I had to start with a new piece of yarn. But I'd rather find it in the warping than in the weaving. Hi Melanie. Thanks for watching. And I usually do this in my kitchen, but it's raining. My house is full. The dogs, the husband, the son eating breakfast because he's heading out to work soon. Thank goodness he does have a job. And I think I just messed that one up. Yes, I did. If you mess up, you just, what I did was I skipped a line. So I need to make sure I catch the next slot, slot. And I just keep putting it around this loop, or this rod. Hi, Gloria. I can see the names, but I can't see the writing. Oh, I'm live on my e-booth too. Yay, thank you. Thank you. So this is how I warp the loom. And what, did I do it? No, I didn't do it again. I thought I did it again. I was going to have to get mad at myself. But I decided not to do a sale today, just to do a work session. This is something that many people ask me, how do you do it? What I like about a rigid Heddle loom is I can do it directly onto the loom. With one of the big looms that you see with the big foot pedals and everything, those you have to do on a warping board. So you put the yarn on a warping board, and you have to put it onto the loom one string at a time. With a rigid Heddle, which is what this is, you do not have to do that, which I prefer. So all I'm doing is putting it through a slot. So right now I'm getting 2 threads per slot. Hi, Carrie. How is everybody handling the COVID COVID-19. I hope everybody's healthy and safe and all their family members are healthy and safe. I am doing this scarf on an 8-dent rigid Heddle, which means there's 8 pieces of thread per inch. And that's for a thicker yarn. The yarn that I'm using is acrylic, so it can be thrown in the washer and dryer. Personally, I would wash them by hand just because they're woven. But they are super soft, and the result is gorgeous. As you can see, I'm over halfway done with this portion of the warping. And what has it been? Just a few minutes. It hasn't been very long. I can warp in under an hour usually. And what I'm doing is I'm not pulling them too tight. They're just tight enough. They're taut, but not too taut. Because if you pull it too tight, it'll just bounce back too much when you take it off the peg. And again, this peg is about 7 feet from this back tie bar. And all I'm doing is taking the tool, pulling the thread through, or the loop through, and then it just puts, then I put it on the peg. And you try not to twist it. That doesn't always happen. And I did 5 slots over on 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, it's 4, 2, 3, 4 slots. So I want to do 4 on this other side too. Oops. And you try to have the loom and the peg about the same height. Hi, Heather. Thanks for joining me and watching Warping My Loom. Again, this is a shot rigid Heddle loom, the Cricket brand, and it's a 10-inch loom, but I like to do my scarves about 8 inches. We're almost done with the walking part of it. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 1 more. And again, this is the way I warp my loom. Everybody has their own technique. This is just my technique. There's no technique that is incorrect. Everybody has their own comfort zone. Oop. I didn't mean to lose that. I'm going to pull this through this last one. And I always try to get it, if I can, on the inside of the tie rod string so I can keep it from sliding off. And this last one I do a little tighter because it's an edge stitch. Okay, so that's all I do for that. Next thing I do is I tie off my loop. And this is just a piece of cotton thread that I use, and just pull it just a half hitch and then a second half hitch so it doesn't come loose. And then I pull it off the peg, and then I do what I call a chain. I pull it through the loop and keep pulling through the loop. This is just so I can keep tension on warping threads as we pull it onto the loom. Okay, so now the next step is just pulling it onto the loom. And I do that from this angle. I've got a little cranker here on the side. And you want to pull it pretty evenly and pretty taut. And I use, what do they call this? I can't remember what they call it. It's just what, packaging paper or whatever. I use that once I start so it doesn't wrap on itself. So I'm at that point now. What I do is I stick the paper on so it's tucked in there, and then I tighten it. And then I keep wrapping. And what that does, it makes it so the threads stay nice and smooth. Because you really don't want to get twisting, because it makes for a wonky weave. Keep winding it on. And what I'm doing is I'm just adding tension to it so it keeps it tight. Paper is being difficult today. I haven't warped in a while, and so it's set in its way right now. It's pretty tight. I see one of them twisted when I did that. Okay, we are pretty close to the end. So at this point, what I want to do is cut my ends. If I don't, I'll know later. And I can release my cotton now, if it wants to come off. This is the way I have found it when you don't have somebody helping you. This is the way I found warping has worked best for me. Everybody has their way of handling it, because sometimes you can have actually somebody cranking as you're holding, or but I don't have anybody here, and I usually don't. I usually do it by myself. So I find that this route works for me. Okay, so I think we're far enough. So I have this much left. Now we're going to get ready to finish it. We're going to pull the other half, and we're going to pull one thread out and put it through to the other side. So I'm going to turn my loop this way. Hi Terry, how are you? Oh, and I see I missed one of my cuts. One of them had a loop still. Okay, are we good there? Let's see if we can kind of get it at an angle so you can see. I've never done this on video, so basically what I'm doing is I pull up both of the threads from the first slot, and I decide, do I want to put one in a hole and one in a slot. So I'm going to go the hole towards me. So I'm going to pull the one that's closest to me out. And then I'm going to put the tool through that hole and then pull it through. So now I've got one in a hole and one in a slot. Can you see that? The slot goes up and down, the hole stays still. And then I pull it aside. Then I go to the next one. Again, trying to get the one closest to me and release that one. That's the one I'm going to put in the hole. Pull the tool through. And I'm trying to get them in the same order. And that's the next one. So I've got 4 now. I've got 2 up, or 2 in the slots, 2 in the holes. And I keep doing this for the whole thing. It's not that many lines or many threads because this is a small scarf. Small as in width, I shouldn't say in length, because it's not a small scarf in length. It'll be about 6 feet long when I'm done. Next one. Hi Susan and Courtney and Debbie and hi everybody. Thanks for stopping in. And I find I am not left-handed and I'm trying to do this left-handed, so this is kind of a challenge for me. But I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so now I have 3 in holes and 3 in slots. And what is going on here? Oh, you're in the wrong spot. So, as you can see, 3 going up and down. Okay, next one. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm going to each slot and pulling out one of the threads from the slot and pulling it through a hole. And I'm pulling it through the adjacent hole to its left. Okay. I don't know about y'all, but it's raining here in Virginia. We needed the rain, but we didn't need the rain, you know? It's like it's the weekend, we want to be outside, and I am still working, so I'm fortunate. I'm one of the lucky ones, because I am a self-employed bookkeeper. Now, I do have some clients that are running into slowness or being forced to shut down, and I feel for them terribly. And most of them tried to get the PPP, but I don't know if they actually did get it or not, because I hear that it's already been, the money's gone, which is sad. I keep looking up at the screen just to see if anybody else is jumping on. I'm sorry if you think I'm looking at you. Okay, this one. And I'm just pulling them through the slots. So far with this quarantine, I've had to cut my bangs. I had to cut my son's hair. My son has extremely curly hair. And kinky curly that wraps around your pinky. And he had let it grow. It was 7 inches long. So I have a true appreciation for curly hair. It was very difficult to curl or to cut, because every time I'd pull it straight, it would wrap around my fingers. So I found that I had to cut under. Normally you cut on the top of the fingers. I had to cut underneath, just because it kept twisting around my fingers. Whether that's the right way or not, I don't know. But it worked, so. And it looked pretty good. I was pretty proud. It went from 7 inches to 3 inches. Or maybe it was on the top, probably 4 inches. But when it's curled up, it's about 1.5 inches. I had no idea it was that long. When I wetted down and combed it out, I about died. Had to send pictures to my hairdresser to tell her how much I appreciate her. And then I did my own bangs, which they're not very hard to do. What is going on here? Oh, you got pulled over here. What I'm trying to do is make sure they're laying flat, just because it works out. When you start weaving, it just doesn't flop back on itself and get twisted behind. Because this is the back of the loom. This is not the front of the loom. This is the front of the loom. Okay. This one's being stinky. Okay. What I like about this loom also is I can sit on my couch with my loom in my lap, my feet kicked up, and I can just warp away while I'm watching TV. I don't have to sit over a table or anything like that, like I am right now, because I can do this on the couch. Last September, I was doing a show, an outdoor show in Blackstone, Virginia. I was doing a show in Blackstone, Virginia, and this woman saw me weaving. Yes, I do bring my loom to shows, and people enjoy watching me. And so this woman came up to me and she says, "I see you're weaving." I said, "Yeah." And she said, "How would you like a bigger loom?" And I said, "I'm listening." She said, "I have a loom very similar to that, but a lot bigger. And it's on a stand. And all I want is what I paid for it." And I said, what did you pay for it? And she said, $15. Like, sold. So the next day she brought it to me. This loom is, I think it's a 32-inch across. So I can make wraps on this thing. I have not even begun to start trying it because, you know, it was show season and then tax season, and so I'm hoping this summer I will be able to pull that loom out and start warping it and weaving on it and see if I like it. This loom that she bought, or that I bought from her, is a loom. It's an older loom, but it's about $700, and I got it for $15. I've been very fortunate in my fiber arts to find deals like that. I spin yarn, and when I started spinning, I said, well, I'll just use just a drop spindle and I'll be perfectly fine. Well, then I get on Craigslist and I'm looking around, and had a spinning wheel on there. I called her. Oop, this one didn't get cut either. I called her because she had a price of $25. And I knew what kind of spinning wheel it was, and it was a $500 wheel. And I called her and I said, is that price correct? And she said, yeah. I said, okay, then sold. Sight unseen, sold. And it turns out she had a friend who lived in my county, so she was actually able to meet me in my county, and we exchanged money, and I got the wheel, and it was missing a treadle, and that was $60. But the wheel had never been used. She bought it brand new in '85 and had never, ever used it. So I got an Ashford traditional wheel for $25, and I couldn't believe it. And it looks like I did a mistake over here. Yep, I did. Okay, so you two. Okay. What I did was I put 4. Hi Sharon. Hi Kevin. I put 4 threads through one slot. So I'm going to have to rearrange. So I need to move everybody down one roll so I can open up a slot again. So it happens. No matter how much you try, it happens, and you just move on. You just slide it over. It's not a big deal. And if anything else, it's yarn. You tear it out and do it again. It's not a big deal. I have been known to do a shawl 3/4 of the way done, and I didn't like how it looked, or I didn't like knitting it, or whatever. And I have actually torn out the shawl just because I didn't like it. People think I'm crazy, but if I don't like doing something, I'm not going to do it. Because I do this out of love, not because, I don't know, I shouldn't say out of love. I enjoy doing this. And if I don't have any joy making something, I won't make it. Because I've had people actually ask me to make certain things, and I'd say, no, thanks. I'm sure I can suggest somebody else. That's just not something I would be interested in. Just because it's usually blankets, and I hate making blankets. They're so boring. So I like a quick results person. I like to be, what am I doing? I like to be done in less than 20 hours. And yes, that's considered a quick project sometimes, because a shawl usually takes about 20 hours. trying to make sure I've got everybody accounted for. These guys are the ones. So these guys still need to move over. Just need to move 2 more over. Where's his face mask? We can talk. He knows where I live. And I do porch pickup. If you're local, I do have masks. You know, when I do make a mask and you're local, I can do porch pickup, and you just stop by my house. I have a bench on my front porch, and you pick up the package and leave the money, or we can exchange the money ahead of time. Those masks were not something I had planned on making. They were something I had decided that I wanted to do for myself, and I had somebody ask if I was making them. And yeah, I made one last Friday. I posted it Saturday, and it has become very popular. In the last week, I think I've made 20. Well, 20 have gone to new homes, put it that way. So, yeah, they have become, they're comfortable. Now, I did have a woman get one, and she wears glasses and oxygen, and she said it wasn't comfortable. It was a little too, the ear piece was a little too wide, but her husband could use it, so they were still able to use it, and I felt bad. I didn't realize she had glasses and oxygen. I knew she had oxygen. I did not know she had glasses too. So, because I wear my glasses with my masks if I need to read. I have contacts, so I just need them for reading and my close-up work like this. Come on. Trying to get you lined up. You're just being difficult. There we go. And we're almost done. And when it gets to the other side of the loom like this, it gets hard on my back. Oof. Ugh. Crack. I've only got this much more to go though. Okay. Not much more to go. I know it gets kind of boring at this part. But then the next thing we do is we tie it on the back rod. So, and again, it's my way of doing it. Everybody has their own. I am self-taught. I've never had a class. I learn everything by either books or YouTube. It looks like this yarn went crazy. Try that one again. Once I finish this, then I need to make sure I have one slot, one hole, one slot, one hole. I'm down here in what used to be my guest room, and when my son moved out, my older son, I should say, when he moved out, his room became the guest room with the double bed, and his double bed went down into this room. I don't usually use this room. This became the D&D room for my younger son. But I had to open it up because you need 7 feet of space to do a scarf. And you don't want me in my kitchen, trust me. It's going to be loud up there. I'm sure my husband's watching a movie, and the dogs are running around, and craziness up there. Otherwise, my husband would be outside. If it weren't raining, he'd be outside. That's one of the pleasures of living in the country, is we can be outside and not have to worry with the social distancing. So now, I want to just make sure, comb it out. I think we got everybody. Try to get every other one. This one is twisted. And this is just me being OCD, I guess. Close enough. I think that's all of them. Looks pretty good. Now we're going to turn the loom again, because I need to be able to can we see? Yeah. You need to be able to pull it. I'm going to be pulling on this side now. So I'm going to release the other end and pull out a little bit and tighten it up again. Then I'm going to take, I've got a back rod, and I'm going to pull that and tighten that on. Okay. Then I find the middle, or some thereabouts the middle. And then I take small groups, like 4 at a time, and smooth it out as best I can. Put it over the top, and then split. Oh, let's grab one more on this side. And then I split it in half and pull it around, and then I wrap it through, pull it tight. Actually, wait, I didn't want to do that. I can adjust it more. Do it once, twice, and then pull it tight. And that way I can keep pulling it tight. Then I go to the other side and do the same thing. Oh, by the way, Mrs. Hoke, your package is in the mail. The mailman is picking it up today. You should probably have it by Monday. And don't forget to send me pictures. And I call her Mrs. Hoke because I've known her since I was a little kid. And she's told me many times to call her by her first name, and I just can't do it. Where we grew up, you don't call adults by their first name. I've never been able to break myself of that. Which is fine. Get out of there. I have a chip in one of my fingernails. I keep feeling it catching on the yarn. But I don't know which one it is. I think it's my pointer finger. Hi, Dawn. I've had people tell me they think I should start a YouTube channel. I need people's opinion. Should I waste my time? Or is it a waste of time, I should say. My son thinks not, but if he thinks not, he's going to have to help me because I don't know how to do it. But I don't know if I want to go through the trouble of setting up a YouTube channel or not, or if just Facebook is enough. Well, Facebook and Instagram, I should probably do more, but I'm debating. I'd love everybody's input. almost done. Let's see, we're, what, 46 minutes into this? And look how much done I've gotten done. This is the last one on this side. And what I'm doing is I'm just doing a half tie right now, and I'll finish it because you want to make sure it's all taut and even. Okay, now basically what you want is even tightness on every one as best you can, because as you're weaving it gets very, it's difficult when they're not even, because you get pulls and stuff and it just it doesn't give a smooth weave. So I'm pulling these tight. Feel they all feel pretty even. Okay, so now I can just tie off. Let me just do a bow tie. Hi, Debbie. I make you want to pull out your loom. I can't believe you haven't. Now that you know how I warp it, you can do it. It's funny because people think during this time of stay at home, you have more time. I haven't found that at all. I mean, my life has not really changed that much because I'm self-employed bookkeeper. People still have to pay their bills. They still have to pay their taxes. I had a client who's like, oh, can you do a marketing campaign for me? I'm like, no, I'm a bookkeeper. He's like, but you don't have anything going on. I'm like, yes, I do. Between bookkeeping and my handmade, I've got tons of stuff going on. And my house shows it. This one didn't look right. Almost done. Last one. Okay, now what I do is I release the back side of it and I start cranking it on this side, the front side. Now, this is a little trick I got. When I was noticing I got too many bumps in my weaving when I first started out. So I took toilet paper rolls, sliced them open, and they wrap around. I wrap them around the tie rod so those bows are not going to cause bumps. No bumpy bows for me. And so it will weave smoother. Now I'm going to tighten this up at the back side. Okay. about right. I've got a couple more I want to smooth out. I try to make sure they're all smooth to start and they're in the right order. Honestly, it'll be a much better weave. Now you lift, and these are going to be my spacer. This is my spacer row. I did not bring my heddle down here, I don't think. No, I don't have my heddle down here. So I'm going to just do it by hand. I take regular yarn, double thickness, and put it through this is called a shed, the space between the slots and the holes when you lift it up. And I just set that in here. This is preparing your weaving for, it's not ready to be woven yet, because you see all these big wonky spaces. This is going to smooth those out. Then I do another, and I'm doing it all from the one side, and make sure it's flat, and then again go through. And this is something you can do when you have a small rigid heddle like this. And then a third one up. And so the holes are what goes up and down. The slots stay still. So remember when we did pot holders way back when? They don't even teach weaving in school anymore, which blows my mind. But you had to do over, under, over, under, over, under. The rigid heddle takes care of that. Now I'm going to pull this tight. And we're halfway there. I see it started. You still have a couple of open spaces. You see where those are? So that's what I'm working on getting rid of. So I'm going to go down. And this is called a beater bar, but you don't beat with it. You just pull tightly and evenly. And this yarn is just plain old junk yarn. Up? Yeah, it was down. So go down. It's almost even now. And these will not be part of the weave. I'll just do one more up and down, and then I'll be ready to start weaving. But I won't be doing that today. Maybe next week I can do that. I hope you all enjoyed watching this. Maybe learned a little something. We've got some on the other end side here. You got all kinds twisted in there. Ooh, almost. There we go. All better. So, we're ready to weave, and I think that's all we'll do for today. Next week what I'll do is I will do the weaving. I'll show you how I start my weaving and how I do my hem stitch. And again, there's tons of ways to do the hem stitch. It's my way of doing the hem stitch. Everything that I do, again, is self-taught. So I think this size loom is a perfect loom if you want to make scarves. It's a little too small to make placemats, but I have an 18-inch that I could do that. I learned on a Spears loom, which is from England. It was a child's toy. That was what I learned how to weave on. I practiced on that, and then I bought this one. I think I paid like $30 on eBay for that one. And I was really excited because it was from the 1950s. And something like that was just, I love the nostalgic stuff like that. And I was really happy with how it turned out. And it worked really well. But then I wanted something smaller so I could do things like this and carry it in a tote bag. That was too big to carry in a tote bag. But this little loom, I absolutely love it. Heddle Loom, and 10-inch, and that's how I make it. So thank you for coming in. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little something. And like me on Facebook, share this video, tell your friends about me. If you need a mask, where did I put my mask? Where did I, oh, there it is. If you need a mask, I have masks, and I'm making more. I'm making them to order right now, but I'm going to try to get a little stock, put it on my website as well. And these are crocheted, but they're not so hot, even though they're crocheted on the outside and lined on the inside, double thickness of cotton yarn, and there's a space, there's a opening for a filter if you'd like to put a filter in there. They've been very popular this week, and I think, and I've tweaked the pattern as I've gone this week, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I wore mine out to Walmart the other day, and previous to that I had worn a bandana, and the bandana, and I did the, you know, the triple thick or whatever you did when you had to fold it certain ways, and with the hair ties around them, and I was so hot in there, I was dripping sweat. This one I wasn't, and I don't know if it's because it's more open on the cheeks and everything. It was just a very comfortable mask to wear, and the people have told me, I've had one person who found it wasn't comfortable because she also had glasses and oxygen behind her ears, so that did make a difference. But they are available for special order on my website, and if you have a particular color you're looking for, I'll see if I can do it for you. I had somebody ask me yesterday if I could do camo yarn. I'm trying to only use yarn I have in stock, so I don't have to go to the stores and I don't have to go shopping to get more product, or to make more product. I'd like to use what I have, and this yarn, if it's not soft, I'm not using it. So please check me out, tell your friends, like me on Facebook if you haven't already. Tell your friends to like me, share this video, let people know I'm out here. Us small businesses are really struggling, and I'm doing everything I can to let people know I'm here and I'm still moving around. So y'all take care. Thank you so much for coming in, and y'all have a great weekend. Thank you.